Hi, this is Ernie. I'm that guy who had $6 in his checking account to now having millions of dollars. I've been getting a lot of requests to talk about my option strategy. So I'm going to walk you through how I do things and what the scenarios are and what tactics you could use when stock price goes down dramatically or goes up. Goes up, it's good, right? You make even more money. But what happens when stock price goes down, and what are some of the tactics that you could use? So I'm going to walk you through what I do. Does not necessarily mean that this is the best strategy ever, but this is what has worked for me. So let's start with one of my holdings called TNA. So TNA is a small cap 3x fund. It is very risky. I do not recommend people to invest in this, but I have a lot more risk tolerance and not too much of my money is in it. So that's why I end up trading this quite a bit. And on top of that, option premium is amazing. So that's another reason. So early this morning when TNA or small cap was up, I ended up selling at 44.50. Let me lower the screen. I ended up selling 44.50 around $41, which is close to about 1%. So what I typically do is I click this and then sell options. And since I have 17,000 shares, 17 contract, and as you can see from here, I already sold 17 contracts early this morning. So unless I use my margin, it's not going to allow me to do this. But anyway, I'm just going to just show you how I did it this morning. And then you do limit. Its limit is around 22 cents right now. So let's go to 23 cents. That's the midpoint. And it tells me all the way down here that I'm going to get about $391. So, but earlier it was close to 680 some dollars. As you can see, I sold 17 calls at 41 cents. And of course, there's a fee associated with it. And I was able to get almost $700 from this trade alone. And rather than taking that money out, I almost always reinvest. So using the same amount of money or not as much, I bought 15 more shares at $42. And the beauty of this is, of course, there's a quarterly dividend that they give you close to $300. And the beauty of DRIP, this is a feature that you could add or you could select on your portfolio so that every time you get a dividend, it gets reinvested. And the amazing thing is, rather than buying whole shares, it allows you to buy fractional shares. So that dividend that I received, I ended up buying almost 7 additional shares. So this week alone, I'm able to get 22 shares, which means in about 4 weeks, rather than selling 17 contracts, I might be able to sell 18 contracts, assuming that it doesn't get exercised. Or even if it gets exercised, I might still be able to sell 18. And then another 4 weeks go by, I might be able to sell now 19 contracts. So this is how you accumulate faster than just waiting for a dividend. As you can see, if you just wait for a quarterly dividend, you get 7. But if you do weekly call option strategy, then you're able to get 15 more shares every single week, so that you'll be able to accumulate insane number of shares. The next question is, what happens when the stock price goes down? I think you saw in one of my videos that when stock price goes down, I don't want to get my stocks get exercised at a loss. So I sell cover calls on Friday morning. High enough that it will not get exercised, but not too high that there's decent amount of premium. So in many cases, you can get even 0.2, 0.3%, even if you were to just sell calls on Fridays. And you could certainly try this using paper money if you're not certain about how to do this. But let me show you. And then, of course, you try to sell it a little bit at a higher price, and then, of course, market takes off and it's going to get exercised. Then question becomes, should you let it get exercised and sell it at a loss? If you believe that fundamentals have changed, that you do not want to hold it, yeah, maybe that's the right way to do it. But if you believe that you still want to hold it, and there's like capital gains tax that's going to offset for the entire year, you want that money to be, you still want to hold on to it, you don't really need to incur capital gains losses to offset all the gains that you have received, then there's something called rolling strategy, which is what I'm about to show you. Little hard to see because of the glare, but as you can see, small cap, I have sold contracts. So what am I going to do? I right click on it, and there's something called Analyze Rolling Trade. This is a little bit of a simulation tool. What it does is, and this is on Thinkorswim, because when you go to Charles Schwab website, the tool is not that great. But if you go to their trading platform called Thinkorswim, you not only get like free CNBC TV, you get a bunch of news, and there's a lot of things that you could do with it. So let's say today is Friday, you're almost going to lose your shares, or your shares get exercised at a loss. So what I do is, it looks complicated, but it's actually not. So what I do is over here, this is what you sold. But I said, you know what? I want to take my chance and roll it to next week so that I make a little bit of money. So you roll up hoping that market would not go up as much and it will not be exercised, so that you'll be able to repeat the same process and recoup as much as possible. So if you go here, if you were to roll up to 45 striking price next week, it gives you 42 cents. So for me, since I have 1,700 shares, if I roll up 50 cents higher, that means I'm going to make about $850 more by rolling. And there's something called credit of 43 cents. So what this means is I'm going to get 43 cents credit on top of potential gain that I'm going to have. So another thing, you here click and then confirm. And it tells you when you do this rolling strategy, they're going to give me credit of $725. So actually more money than last week. But of course, this will change depending on when you are doing it. I typically recommend people to do this on Friday. So this is just another way of recouping money. And then if you do not want them to get exercised at a loss, how you roll it so that you get 50 cents more in selling price, as well as getting that credit. So you're able to make even more money. Is it always available? No, of course not. Because if the price has gone up so much, you might have to roll a month in order to get any type of credit back. So it all depending on, so it all depends on what the purchase price was, how much activity is there, and how much risk the option premiums are there. But anyway, this is complicated, so send me messages or comments so that I'll be able to explain to you. And I'll try to do this on Friday on anything I'm losing money on, so that you'll be able to see in detail how I actually do this. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like, repost, and send me comments as always. I try to respond as much as possible. Thank you.